Well, darn tootin' howdy, friends. Why do I start this video like that and with this ridiculous hat? Because this right here is the Howdy Boxster.
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
Why is it called the Howdy Boxster? Because this car belongs to customer Mike, super awesome guy. He trailered his 2002 Porsche Boxster base model all the way up to Columbus, Ohio, where I live, from where he lives in Dallas, Texas, to have a timing chain guide service done to his vehicle. Now, this beautiful specimen of a 2002 Boxster only has 54,000 miles on the clock. That's pretty dang low. Sorry, I'm gonna take this hat off. This is absolutely insane. This car only has 54,000 miles on the clock, but he has been seeing evidence of timing chain guides in his oil filters every time he does an oil change. So he decided it's time to go ahead and do that quarter-century major service. So that's exactly what we're going to be doing starting today. In this here video series, we're gonna get this engine nice and refreshed and get all those aging rubbers and plastics rejuvenated. Timing chain guides, some of the timing chains, lifters, a lot of other stuff while we're in there. This puppy is going to be mint. Plus, we're gonna ask the age-old question, which is, what actually kills those timing chain guides? Is it mileage or is it age? Well, we're gonna find out because, like I said, 54,000 miles. These things are pretty young and fresh, mileage-wise. So before we get this thing up on the lift and start taking out the engine and transmission, let's go ahead and do a quick drive with it so we can get a quick bead on exactly how this thing feels on the road. Then we can get it up on the lift and start getting to work. So, I'm gonna go ahead and grab the key, we'll get to it.
Go back. Drop in and just smack the
All right, here we are, cruising down my favorite little B road, test drive road, getting the old Howdy Boxster up to temperature here. She's coming up to temp nicely. I like to do these little test drives before doing a major service, just so I can get a bead on what the car feels like and drives like. That way, if anything feels weird after I put it back together, I know whether or not that was there before. Easy enough. How does this thing drive? Well, obviously I'm not feeding her the onions quite yet, and I'm not really going to because, well, it's not my car, but this thing drives really, really solidly. This car does have a Fab Speed exhaust on it, a pretty quiet one, but it definitely sounds much, much better than the stock systems that came on these cars. So the engine is running very nicely, and obviously, you know, unless the timing chain guides are extremely worn, you're not gonna be able to tell from the driver's seat. But yeah, everything seems to be pretty well put together. I did notice as it was warming up and I was idling it out to the edge of my driveway, I did kind of detect a small potential misfire. So, you know, maybe that's something that we'll have to look into a little more. It's not setting a check engine light, obviously, so it's not a severe misfire, but it's very likely the result of old coil packs and spark plugs, which we are going to swap out during this job. So hopefully that will get cleared up. All right, well, nothing major to report. I'm gonna go ahead and finish up this test drive. I will see you back at the Fun Ahead headquarters very shortly, where we will begin tearing this puppy apart. Well, hey, you spicy little devil. I just wanna interrupt this video really quickly to tell you guys about the Sign Seekers Driving Club. What in the world is the Sign Seekers Driving Club, you might ask? Well, it is a social club that involves us getting together and driving our cars down some of the sickest driving roads in the world. And while that sounds kind of dramatic, it's not. That's just kind of what we're gonna be doing, you know what I mean? We'll be doing anything from day drives to weekend drives that involve an overnight to be able to make sure that we explore all of the super awesome driving roads that a given area has to offer. The very first drive with the Sign Seekers Driving Club is going to be in southeastern Ohio, which, believe it or not, features some of the greatest driving roads in the freaking country. But eventually, we'll do some overnight trips in different parts of the country. And of course, doing overnight trips will allow us to have dinner and drinks after a day of driving, of course, so that we can all sit down and get to know each other that much better. So if this sounds at all intriguing to you, shoot me an email at funaheadtvofficial@gmail.com. Let me know you're interested in joining the Sign Seekers Driving Club. There's no commitment whatsoever. All you need to do is just let me know that you're interested. I'll put you on the mailing list. That way you can receive emails about upcoming events and how to sign up for them. One last thing I want to mention about the Sign Seekers Driving Club. It is a non-profit organization, which means that any bit of proceeds that are generated from the club activities goes completely to charity. What kind of charity, you ask? One of the top tier cancer research charities in the United States. The time frame I'm targeting for the very first event is middle to late September. I don't have an official date nailed down yet because I'm still kind of ironing out some details with regards to insurance. But in the meantime, if you want to help the cause, Sign Seekers Driving Club already has a shirt. So if you head on over to funadtv.com, get yourself a Sign Seekers Driving Club shirt. All proceeds go directly to charity, of course, plus free shipping on that shirt. If you want to get out and enjoy your car and be able to help other people, consider coming to hang out with the Sign Seekers Driving Club. All right, well, we just got back from our little test drive, and I gotta say, this thing feels pretty dang nice. 54,000 miles. That's pretty low mileage for one of these things being the age that they are. So like I said, everything went really well on the test drive. Just a few little things to note. One is that little misfire, that very light load, low RPM misfire that seems to kind of happen. The other thing is I definitely smelled an oil leak and a coolant leak. And the other thing was that the low speed radiator fans don't seem to work, which is a very common thing. The resistors next to the radiator fans go out, and then therefore you lose the functionality of your low rad fans. And then you don't get AC when you're sitting at a stoplight because, well, the fans don't run and your temperature tends to creep up that much more quickly. We need to get this puppy on the lift and start doing some stuffs.
Howdy, howdy, howdy. Howdy, howdy, howdy.
Hey baby, let it play. That's my song. Turn it up. I apologize. I apologize for that. You won't see it again. As you can see, we've got the old Howdy Boxster up in the air. Let's go ahead and do a quick underside inspection, see what we can see. Okay, here you can see an oil leak, and that is because I am currently draining the oil out of the engine, knocking 17 birds out with 3 people, or whatever they say. Whilst we've got it up, might as well have her draining out. Plus, I always send off a Blackstone oil sample as well. So, let's start taking a gander. Basically, this valve cover is leaking oil like an absolute sieve. And then same story over here. There's a couple other ones on that valve cover as well. And way up in there, I honestly don't even know why I'm trying to show you guys this. Every time you try to show something way deep up in an engine bay, it just doesn't come across on camera, but take my word for it, there are a lot of oil leaks kind of all over. But good news is we will have all of the major oil leak areas apart and resealed during this job. So by the end of this, Mike's engine will be tip top from an oil leak standpoint. That X-pipe's beautiful. Okay, let's continue our inspection, sorry. All right, so again, like I said, nothing super major to note other than those oil leaks. It does appear that this transmission has in fact been out before. You can tell because of that zip tie right there. It's very much not factory. And I don't know if the engine has been out before, but I have not yet had that front undercover off to look at the engine mount. But anyway, I think this thing does in fact have an aftermarket intermediate shaft bearing, which would explain why the transmission has been out. And I did also go ahead and do a shakedown of all 4 corners to make sure that nothing is loose from a control arm, ball joint, bushing standpoint, wheel bearing, etc. Everything feels really nice and tight. However, someone has in fact been in here messing with this front right tie rod end because this lock nut was just sitting there like that. Obviously, we will go ahead and get that tightened up for Mike, and I will probably have to recommend an alignment at some point because the back control arm adjustment for the camber and toe in the rear are a little bit out. But anyway, the car drives well, so maybe it's not super urgent. And looking at the top end here, just got the upper cover taken off. You can see this thing is, you know, pretty dusty. She has been untouched on the top side for a long time, but we got a friend here. Little mouse house going on. Hopefully there are not actually any friends in there. We have a fluid leak up here, as you can see. All of that dust has kind of caked to these intake tubes. It appears that that is power steering fluid. I think this reservoir is leaking somewhere on this, and it has been coming back onto these intake tubes, but further investigation required. And here's the front side of the engine. Everything looks pretty solid here as well. I think this car has been really nicely maintained over time. Overall, this thing looks pretty good. Nothing glaring that I have seen as of yet. Okay, well, the oil just finished up draining, and I was just taking a quick look at this oil filter to just see what we can see preliminarily in terms of the timing chain guide, see if we can get any kind of indication of the condition of these. Overall, this engine has been running really clean. That oil that came out of that thing looked absolutely spotless. There's a timing chain guide bit right there. Yeah, you can see a couple here. Hopefully you can see that on camera. So those are the kind of things that you need to look for if you're wondering if your 5-chain M96 engine has any kind of timing chain guide degradation. Just look for little brown bits in the pleats of your oil filter. Yep, see there's another one. So you can see that right there. Yeah, so Mike's instincts were right. The timing chain guides are definitely starting to break down on this engine. Maybe does kind of bode towards the time versus mileage argument. Time maybe is, you know, just as much of a factor. I definitely say it is. But it'll be very interesting to see what the actual condition of those guides are once we get it all apart. So, speaking of, let's keep getting it apart. Hi. Well, all right, just a quick check-in. I did just go ahead and drop all the coolant out of the engine and disconnect all of the main coolant lines. As you can see, if you're not familiar with how to do that, this right here is the drain plug in the main coolant manifold. Start with that, drops out a decent bit of the coolant, and then disconnect all of the lines going to the engine. There will be much, much more coolant that comes out of those lines, but definitely start with draining out that manifold. It'll save you some of the mess. So now that that's all done, we can start moving on to taking down our cross members and then the exhaust. So we will continue with doing that, and then once that's done, we can move up to the top of the engine and start disconnecting that stuff. Okay, well, I just finished up disconnecting the majority of the stuff on the bottom side. I think we're looking pretty solid. Now I'm just taking a little break, cooling off with a little LaCroix. Shout out Casey Rocket. But yeah, I think at this point I am gonna go ahead and move up to the top side, start getting that stuff apart because I honestly haven't even touched anything up there. This engine definitely has been out before. So both the engine and transmission have been out. I know that because everything's been loosened up and things are not in their stock locations. Whoever put it back together didn't pay quite enough attention to where everything should go. Let's go ahead, start working on the top side. We'll get all that stuff apart.
Howdy, howdy, howdy. Howdy. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Howdy.
Working too hard could give you a heart attack. People, there she is. The old Howdy Boxster's engine and transmission. She's dirty, but that's quite all right. We're gonna get her nice and cleaned up. Yes, we have the engine out, but boy, do we have a lot of things yet to do, yet to take apart, and yet to replace, which is gonna be extremely satisfying. So, I cannot wait for the transformation of Mike's super awesome Howdy Boxster. Thank you all so much for tuning in today. I really, really appreciate you. If you found this episode at least a little bit helpful, informative, or in the very least entertaining, do me a favor and hit that like button. Also, please subscribe if you want to see even more content like this and just all sorts of automotive content from all across the land coming to you via Funhead TV every single week. So, again, I appreciate you so very much. Yes, you, looking right at you. And I'll see you all in next week's video. Later.
Go back. Drop in and just smack the lip.